ISIS lives forever. Uzbek man, 29, who killed 8 and injured 15 with his vehicle while shouting Allahu Akbar in New York, left behind notes and a flag pledging loyalty to terror group and appeared proud in his interrogation. The driver of a truck which mowed down innocent people in New York on Tuesday, killing 8 and injuring at least 13, pledged his allegiance to ISIS before the attack. Allahu Akbar Saipov, 29, remains in custody in the hospital after being shot in the stomach by an on-duty NYPD officer at Chambers Street in Tribeca on Tuesday afternoon. He was brought down after raining terror for 17 blocks on the West Side Highway, which he drove down in a rented Home Depot truck before crashing into a school bus. After his vehicle came to a stop, he was seen running from the scene brandishing a pellet gun and paint gun before being brought down. Investigators who searched the truck afterwards found notes in which the 29-year-old Uzbek pledged his allegiance to the terror group. One, reportedly written in English, said ISIS lives forever. Others in Arabic made similar pledges and remarks, it was claimed. There were also ISIS flags inside the truck. Saipov immigrated to the U.S. in 2010 and had addresses in Florida, Ohio and New Jersey. He ran his own truck-sharing companies in the past but had spent the last 6 months working as an Uber driver. The ride-sharing app is now cooperating with authorities as is Home Depot in Passaic, New Jersey, where he is believed to have rented the truck used in the attack. The FBI is appealing for witnesses to send photographs and videos they captured of the attack to them in order to aid investigations. On Wednesday, investigators in hazmat suits continued sorting through evidence at the scene. Bicycles remained discarded or crumpled on the ground after being crushed by Saipov's truck, which has not been moved since it came to a stop. An official told NBC Philadelphia that the notes inside his truck contained one, written in English, which pledged, ISIS lives forever. CNN said it was one note, written in English, found inside the car. The New York Times reports that it was multiple notes, written in Arabic, found outside the car. As the horrific toll, currently at 8 dead and at least 13 injured, including one child in critical condition, climbed up, details began to emerge about Saipov's life. He was an Uzbekistan native who had lived in the U.S. for 7 years and ran 2 trucking companies located in Ohio, sources claim. The ride-hailing company Uber said Saipov passed its background check and drove for the service for 6 months, making more than 1,400 trips. Documents reveal how he got married on the 12th of April, 2013 to Nozima Odilova, who was 19 at the time. Both list Tashkent, Uzbekistan, as their hometown. Saipov is originally from Uzbekistan, but immigrated to the U.S. in 2010, and at the time of his arrest he was holding an identification card that listed his home as Tampa, Florida. However, police say that he was most recently living in Paterson, New Jersey. Investigators are now combing a Home Depot in Passaic, New Jersey, where he is believed to have picked up the truck and may have left his own vehicle. A white minivan was seen surrounded by police tape. Kobaljan Madkarov, 37, of Mamisburg, Ohio, said that he met Saipov 5 years ago, and they bonded over their shared Uzbek heritage. He is very good guy, he is very friendly, he is like little brother, he look at me like big brother, he told the New York Post. He said Saipov had been working as an Uber driver in New Jersey this summer, and that the alleged terrorist had driven him, his wife and their 5 children to New York's JFK airport during a recent trip to their home country. Saipov was very friendly, he said, and good with children, my kids like him too, he is always playing with them. He is playing all the time, he said. but added that when one of the children asked to take a photo with him, Saipov refused. He no like that. He said no. Matkarov said. Matkarov said he was shocked by the claim that his friend had murdered and injured 24 people, and that he didn't know of any terrorist connections he may have had. Saipov has close links to Osh, in the ex-Soviet state Kyrgyzstan, according to Ruslan Leviev, head of the Conflict Intelligence Team, an anti-Kremlin social media monitoring group. He has social media links to friends in the city, also the home of Akbar Janjalilov, who bombed the St. Petersburg metro last year, was from. The city has an ethnic Uzbek population who claim to be repressed. The manager of Saipov's local grocery store in Paterson, Farm Boy Super Fresh Supermarket on Getty Avenue, had a very different opinion of the man. She claims that Saipov was an erratic customer who berated the cashiers, the New York Post reported. Every time he came here he was always erratic or arguing with the cashiers. The manager, who did not want to provide her name, told the Post. He would get angry very fast. He would break the cans. Dumb things, she said, adding that he was known for his rude behavior. I feel like he was prejudiced to the cashiers, whether they were covered or not in a hijab. He would belittle them, she told the Post. He was talking good English, proper, but he would call the cashiers dumb, uneducated, how they didn't know how to scan the items. She also said that Saipov, who moved to the US in 2010 from Uzbekistan, argued often about the price of Canada Dry ginger ale. Soda was the problem. He would come here and buy soda, she said. He would give us a hard time on the 12-pack Canada Dry. If it was one price he would want his own price. It was always the soda, always a problem with the 12-pack of cans. Always a problem. Uber said in a statement on Tuesday night, "We are horrified by this senseless of violence. Our hearts are with the victims and their families. We have reached out to law enforcement to provide our full assistance." The company said that he had passed a background check by the company and that they are now aggressively reviewing his history with them, although they had not yet found any concerning safety reports. The company added that he has been banned from the app. According to public records, Saipov worked as a commercial truck driver and has previously lived in Ohio. It's unclear how long he had been in New Jersey or New York prior to the attack. He also has 2 businesses registered to Ohio. Safe Motors Incorporated was registered in Hamilton County from May 2011, and is located in an apartment in Cincinnati, and Bright Auto LLC was registered in Cuyahoga Falls from August 2013 and is located in another apartment. Bright Auto LLC is an active carrier registered with the U.S. Department of Transportation. Records show that the trucking company has 1 truck and 1 driver. The company said it could not confirm if the suspect had rented the vehicle, but they are cooperating with police. Saipov also has a minor criminal record for traffic offenses in Missouri and Pennsylvania. He provided an address in St. Charles County, Missouri, for the 2016 Missouri traffic violation, which shows the location is registered address for STL Logistics LLC. That company had a Freightliner tractor and semi-trailer registered, records show. Court records show that he was stopped in Mount Holly Springs Borough, Pennsylvania, on March 2015. Saipov provided an address in St. Charles County, Missouri for that traffic violation, which shows the location is registered address for STL Logistics LLC. Saipov, who provided authorities with an address in Paterson, New Jersey, pleaded guilty to a single charge of maximum length of a single trailer and paid fees associated with the citation. Ulich, 48, was a steel mill owner who had paid for flights for several of his friends so they could attend, according to local Argentine newspapers, The Guardian reported. Maro is an immigrant scientist who has lived in the Massachusetts city of Newton for 7 years. Last week he and his wife held a fundraiser for Republican Newton City Councilor James Coate. Tom Mountain, chairman of the Newton Republican City Committee, said the couple are kind, caring and wonderful people and said that the horror show attack had left the committee absolutely stunned. Before his death, Panaco had shared a photograph of himself in New York with a Facebook group dedicated to the multiplayer war video game War Machines, in which he played as a tank commander with the nickname Janus. In a post on the group, one of its members remembered him as an excellent person, with spotless conduct adding, "You really are a friend to all of us and we're going to miss you. May you rest in peace for all eternity." Argentina was not the only foreign country whose citizens were caught up in the attack. Didier Reynders, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister for Belgium, confirmed that a Belgian was among the killed and 3 others were wounded. The slain victim was a woman from Roeselare who was visiting New York with her sister and mother, Reynders told Belga. It's unclear whether her family are the other Belgian victims, or, if so, who the third injured person might be. I am deeply saddened to announce a Belgian victim in Manhattan, Reynders tweeted. I express my condolences to the family and friends. He said the 3 others that were hurt were in the operating room. Saipoth was shot by hero NYPD officer Ryan Nash, 28. Nash was attending to a 2:35 p.m. report of a suicidal 17-year-old girl at nearby Stuyvesant High School when he confronted the alleged terrorist. The suspect refused to drop his weapons, police said, so Nash shot and arrested him. In a press conference earlier in the day, NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill applauded Nash's heroism without naming him, saying, I want to commend the response of our NYPD officer that was on post near the location who stopped the carnage moments after it began. Despite the day's terrifying events, New Yorkers still took to the streets to attend both Halloween parties and the annual Halloween parade up 6th Avenue. Tens of thousands of zombies, vampires, ghouls and ghosts packed out the streets, protected by a ramped-up police presence. Streets connecting to 6th Avenue were blocked off not just with barriers, but with heavy vehicles capable of stopping cars that might attempt to bust through. Heavy arms units were also on the scene, as well as thousands of NYPD officers. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio and Governor Andrew Cuomo were also present, thought not in costume, as a show of strength against the terrorist attack. In a press conference on Tuesday night, both men promised that New York would stand tall. We know this action was intended to break out spirit, de Blasio said. But we also know New Yorkers are strong, resilient and our spirit will never be moved by an act of violence or an act meant to intimidate us. Also in the press conference, de Blasio said, based on the information we have, this was an act of terror and a particularly cowardly act of terror aimed at innocent civilians. People going about their lives, he said, but promised that New York would not bow. De Blasio was joined by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo who prayed for those killed. It reminds us all how precious life is. They left the house the morning. They were enjoying the beautiful west side of Manhattan on a beautiful fall day and now they will not be returning home. That shock and that pain is going to be very real, he said. NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill confirmed the driver's movements. He would not release his identity or nationality, saying it was too early in the investigation to share such details. President Trump acknowledged the attack on Twitter, describing the perpetrator as a sick individual. In NYC, looks like another attack by a very sick and deranged person. Law enforcement is following this closely. Not in the U.S. He wrote. Melania Trump, who was in Manhattan when the attack occurred, said, "My heart breaks for NYC today. Thoughts and prayers as we monitor the situation." Rabbi James Aklos, who works at a school near the scene, told DailyMail.com he was rushing his students away as the FBI and police shouted at them to stay back. He said the suspect started hitting cyclists on Chambers on the cross-section with the West Side bike path. He then got out of the car and was shot by police at the intersection with Warren and the bike path. Anyone shout anything? He was 1 block south on Murray at the time. Despite the added security, city officials said there was no evidence that Tuesday's attack was part of a wider terror plot. Witnesses described hearing 5 to 10 gunshots, all of which came from police guns. Others ran for their lives as they watched the truck plow into pedestrians after veering off the road. Shocking video footage from the scene showed cyclists lying on the ground with their bikes smashed into pieces around them. Bypassers were seen tending to them as they awaited medical attention. In the surrounding area, students were in the middle of doing exams when they heard police firing shots. Raza Kazan, a student at the BMCC, said she was in the middle of a statistics midterm when the chaos unfolded. She told DailyMail.com, an announcer said in the middle of the test there had been a shooting. But he said there were so many police that it was safe to stay inside and carry on. So I finished the test. Then he came on again and said that the shooting occurred because someone had run people down in their car. I was getting a coffee on the corner where it happened just a couple of hours earlier. I can't believe the announcer was so calm. It made it seem like what was happening wasn't serious. Within minutes of the first reports, there was an enormous police and fire service presence at the site. Ezequiel Gonzalez, 18, a speech coach at Stuyvesant High School, told DailyMail.com at the scene, "I heard what sounded like gas caskets and I went up on the bridge and saw a car caved in. Then I was pushed back and saw the ambulances arriving. The school was put on lockdown." John Williams, 22, told DailyMail.com he was there around 30 seconds after the gunshot. "I saw one man lying on the ground being looked after by paramedics and cops, another man getting arrested and what seemed like another man running towards the Hudson River. I came out and saw a man holding 2 guns. I could still smell the gunfire. It was a very strong scent. I was concerned for the safety of everyone because there was someone walking around with a gun." Williams said he heard between 5 and 10 gunshots in total. Mohammed Hamza Amja, another witness, said the suspect looked Hispanic and strongly denied the man hearing him shout Allah Akbar. He saw him walking down the street wearing a hoodie and holding a gun. At the time, school children were being let out of class after a day of Halloween festivities.